Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is the slippery elm bark. It's an amazing remedy used for thousands of years by the native Indians, and it's very popular around the world today as well, especially among those with digestive issues and acid reflux. So without further ado, let's get started. Slippery elm is a tree very common in Northern America. It's the inner bark of the tree that has all the healing properties. And native Indians used it in many different ways. They use it for all kinds of digestive ailments like acid reflux or constipation. They also used it for healing all kinds of wounds and injuries. And they even believed that it made childbirth easier and faster and less painful for women. Slippery elm comes in many different forms. It comes in simple powder, which is my favorite way because it's the least processed and it's usually the cheapest. It can also be in a liquid extract, in a capsule. It really depends on what you're going to use it for. If you need it for sore throat, for example, if you take capsules, it's going to be useless. There'll be no direct contact between your sore throat and the remedy. So in that case, a tea made of powder would be the best thing. But if, for example, you want to treat constipation or some kind of digestive issues, then a capsule would be perfectly fine. I feel that the tea is the best way to use it, hands down my favorite way. And for all of these remedies that I'm going to talk about now in terms of health, taking it internally, you can just make a tea from a teaspoon of the bark powder and hot water, steep it for around 5 minutes, leave it to cool down a bit or completely, and just drink it like a normal tea. I find that the best way to do it is to mix that teaspoon of bark powder with a tiny bit of water, cold water, just to make a nice smooth paste, and then fill up the mug all the way to the top with hot water while mixing it all the time. Slippery elm bark contains mucilage, and it's something that when mixed with water, it creates this jelly-like consistency, and it's exactly that jelly-like consistency that heals everything and coats all of the irritated and injured tissues. The tea doesn't taste bad in my opinion. It tastes kind of earthy, and if you like herbal things, you're going to like it, but you can also add some honey to enhance the taste, or a little bit of sugar if that's what you prefer, but it's really not bad at all. I just make a cup and I drink it throughout the day, little by little, or you can just drink a full cup right away 3 times a day, 2-3 times a day. So the first way to use it is for better digestion. If you have any kind of inflammation in your bowels, like inflammatory bowel diseases, or if you are healing from celiac disease or gluten intolerance and you have really irritated, damaged guts, or if you have acid reflux, stomach inflammation like gastritis, or constipation, for all of these issues, slippery elm is a really good remedy to try. The next way to use it is to heal and soothe sore throat, whether it's from esophagus irritation, like in terms of acid reflux, due to allergies or due to a cold. It's going to really be so helpful because it will coat that sore throat and will prevent it from having any more damage done. It's also really good for that dry, annoying cough that often comes with cold, not for the wet, productive coughs, because slippery elm bark is quite dampening for the body, and so it's not good for those. But if you have this annoying dry cough, it's perfect. And if you have acid reflux and you're healing from esophagus inflammation, esophagitis, it's the best thing ever. It's extremely soothing. Like if you have trouble swallowing, drinking this tea is amazing. The next reason why slippery elm is so good is because it is a prebiotic. So probiotics are the things that contain the actual biotics or bacteria, and prebiotics are things that feed that bacteria. It's their favorite food. Feeding the good bacteria is one of the best ways to replenish the flora in the guts. Slippery elm is also very healing for mouth ulcers, mouth sores, any kind of mouth irritations. I personally suffer from that a lot. Some sources say that slippery elm powder can also be very helpful for weight loss. Nobody knows exactly what the mechanism is there, perhaps because it coats the stomach and intestines, and so you kind of feel fuller and you absorb less of the food that you eat, or maybe because of the better bacterial balance in your intestines. But the thing is that it does help you lose weight. Because slippery elm bark is so cooling and soothing. It's actually wonderful for those of us who are a Pitta constitution. That's an Ayurvedic term. It basically means that you have too much heat, too much fire in you, so you're very prone to all kinds of irritations and inflammation. And that's where slippery elm bark is amazing. Slippery elm bark is really good for those with any kind of urinary tract inflammation or bladder inflammation, bladder pain. If you have really sensitive bladder that reacts to all kinds of sour foods or just random foods, it's a great thing to try. Also, if you are recovering from a urinary tract infection, a bladder infection, it's a really good way to soothe and heal those irritated tissues as well. It can also be used for pets. I use slippery elm bark for my cat Jimmy when he had huge stones in his kidneys and he was in a lot of pain. He was peeing with blood, and during his healing I used the bark and it helped him so much. Some studies have shown that slippery elm bark can also help heal psoriasis and dermatitis, both applied topically as a mask and also internally, probably because it improves the digestive flora so much that it helps the skin at the same time. Healthy skin comes from within, from healthy digestion. Everything starts from a healthy digestion. That's how slippery elm can be very helpful. We can also make a mask from it and apply it on any kind of irritated skin. So you can just mix a tiny bit of slippery elm bark powder with some water to form a smooth paste, apply it on your face like a mask, leave it there to dry, and then wash it off. And you can do it even up to 2-3 times a day if you're having a really intense attack of dermatitis or irritation. Just make sure you don't use it on open skin, open wounds. And I also feel that it's important to mention that if you're pregnant, you should not use it, because traditionally slippery elm bark was used as a way to have an abortion, to abort a pregnancy. So be very, very careful with it if you're pregnant or planning to get pregnant or trying to get pregnant. And also if you take any kind of medications or supplements, be aware that the process of coating the intestines could actually interfere with nutrient or medication absorption. So if you're taking anything, leave it at least an hour between taking it and taking the slippery elm powder. Also, if you're wondering when to take it, if you're taking for digestive issues, it really depends on what kind of digestive issues you are having. If you have actual stomach issues like acid reflux, pains in the actual stomach, then the best way to take it is after a meal. But if you have lower digestive tract issues like constipation or bowel pains, then the best way to take it is before meals on an empty stomach. And that's it for today's video. Really hope that you found this information interesting. Hope that you'll give slippery elm bark a try. If you have done so already, I would be very interested to hear what you got to say, what your experience was like. Let me know what you used it for. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.